everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's Tournament Game 7. We are playing Helheim. This is turn 13. Jump into things. I don't think I'll never not stumble over that intro. Anyways, we have completed Alteration 1. Our research is excruciatingly slow, which is really bad. But it is what it is. We're making strides towards improving it. We'll see what we can do. Hearst 5 has searched Shrim Clever for magic sites, found nothing. Hearst 2 found nothing in Kohnberg. An unexpected event in Wise Spring Grove. A witch was caught while suffering her sentence of death by lapidation. She uttered a dark curse over the land. Fortune +3 and magic +2. That's probably relatively inconsequential, but we'll see. Worldwide events, enchantment rituals are cheaper. Bleh. And then obstruction of the fortress in Kohnberg has been completed. Nice. Okay, what are we doing? Our plans, this is probably going to be a short episode. I apologize. Our plans proceed as they were discussed previously. We are moving deeper into Sarmatian territory. We are aiming for turn 15 or 16-ish, kind of depending on the situation. So turn 15 would put Jarl 1 at Glimmering Fields. Turn 15 would put Hearst 7 at the Towers of Heaven. And we're kind of like filtering in behind. So Bright Gate is kind of the jumping off point because we can meet it, or we can get to it immediately from our capital. So as we move away from Brightgate, we are moving back into reinforce. So eventually, whether that's turn 15 or 16, we should be able to pop in. If we're talking about turn 15, that's 2 turns from now. So we'll be adding 2 more stacks to the party. So 3, 4, 5 stacks. We should be able to cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A fair chunk of their territory. So we'll see. We'll see how that actually works out for us. We might end up waiting till 7, or not 7, 16. But yeah. So that's what's happening with our sneaky elven forces in Sarmatian lands. I have not had any confirmation on whether or not Sarmatia has opened up against Marverni. But Marverni, I don't know what's up with them. Marverni's been slow for turns, kind of. Obviously something happened with Agartha. Trying to figure out. I've been expecting to see a fort come up here for like ages because this commander's been here for like 8 turns or something like that. But he's just there, just hanging out. So we are sending Scout 2 down into Marverni lands on turn 15. So this will be turn 14. On turn 15, he will be in Phalacia and be able to give us a little bit of a view of what's going on here. Right, so that will be good. Meanwhile, we continue our production here in Helheim, except you may notice that we are producing a Svartalf. So we want to get a Svartalf out early so we can start site searching for Earth and potentially Fire, depending on if they pick that up or not. And Death too, right? Obviously, it will be searching for Death as well. Depending on whether or not we get a Death random or an Earth random, that can be very useful in confirming that our searches are as effective as they possibly can be. So that is useful, but if we don't get one, we'll still just getting site search for Earth 2 and Death 2 will cover most of the things that we could find, so that's good. This did leave our holy points open, so we ended up with 6 Hell Herdings this turn, which should be nice. They will probably go out with our Hell Carl, next turn. And we might have to supply a new hearse from Kohnberg or something like that for the next group, because we do want to make sure that these groups are heading forward. We've got hearse 2 heading over to Osens. The Palisade's going to be up there next turn, and hearse 2 is going to arrive to put up a temple, put up a lab, and we'll be able to produce from there. Meanwhile, hearse 5 is heading over to Dead Forest. Commander 3 is putting up the Palisade. We have 3 months, so hearse 3 will get there with 2 months to spare, be able to do like a site search, be able to put up a lab and a temple, and we'll be able to go from there. Commander 1 is heading over to Dendra Nigra to pick up some fallen soldiers there, and in Kohnberg, we are producing a Van Heers, as well as some Herdmen. Now, I went back and forth on what I actually wanted to produce here for a while. We could go mounted Herdmen, but we can only produce 2 of them at a time because their recruitment points are so high, and we probably will want to end up swapping over to mounted Herdmen after we get Order, right? Order giving 30% more recruitment points. The issue being is that we have very little of our actual Dominion yet, so it hasn't come here. Once we get Order in, we'll be able to produce 3 Herdmen without issue, maybe 30% more. It's going to give us like 32 points, so probably just 3. We probably will not be able to make it to 4, which is fine, because that will leave us maybe some points for like a Herdman, or maybe some points for some archers. So I did consider going into archer spam, because archers can be useful against certain things. And a lot of people don't expect you to roll up with a 100 stack of archers on turn 20 as Helheim, because why the fuck would they, right? But they can be very useful against someone like Marverni, for example, because Marverni has, just like we do, Marverni has... Oh, no, I'm not thinking Marverni, I'm thinking of Tirnanog. Tirnanog has glamored units, right? So they can be useful against Tirnanog, but they're not going to be overly useful against anything else. And be somewhat useful against Abyssia, depending on what they're packing. Like, if they're trying to do a whole lot of, like, low-level infantry without shields, they can be decent. Not very, but against Calum, they can be okay, right? Really, the only reason why I would mix them in is if we decided we were going to go enchantment. We could pretty early flaming arrows. And enchantment is not bad for us because of things like Horde of Skeletons or Twiceborn, right? So this is an option for us to go this route. But I don't think we're going to rely on Loki to be a random flaming arrow caster, though it is an option. But if we decide to do that, we can very easily just mass produce, our archers there, and it wouldn't be a big deal. So, but for now, the decision really holds between two mounted herdmen is too few. We need bodies. Mostly, we need bodies for things like siege, right? So we're going to start producing some Herdmen. I decided to go with Herdmen instead of Huskarls. You can get 5 Huskarls for the price of 4 Herdmen, roughly. But Herdmen have slightly better stats, right? Huskarls hit a little harder. Herdmen have better protection. They have better defense. And right now, I'm not worried about hitting super hard. If I was going up against Hinam or Femoria, I would be more worried about hitting really hard. Or Abyssia, for example. Going against Saramatia, I'm more worried about trying to survive to do those hits. So we're going to go for... And the same for Marverni, right? for Marverni, I kind of want quality. For Sarmatia, I kind of want quality. Try to put together a bunch of Herdmen. And over the course of, I don't know, 5 or 6 turns, we can put together a decent little squad here. And what might actually end up doing, fortunately, is, depending on how things go with Sarmatia, we might start seeding Herdman raiding parties into Marverni's lands. But the intention for now is to just build kind of like a standing army in Kronberg and go from there. So, that's pretty much the turn, honestly. We don't really have too much else going. We are not producing like, for example, we could send Karl 2 out instead of Hearst 9 with the party, but we're not doing that. We could do that and then have Hearst 9 forge an Owlquill. We start Owlquill production. We're not doing that because the hotfix went live for the forge bug, but I don't know if that it went live during this turn, so I don't know if that's just gonna fix it for this turn or if I need to wait a turn or anything like that. So just in case, I'm waiting a turn, and next turn we'll probably start producing Owlquills with our Vanheers. I say that next turn we'll probably have to move the Vanheer that we get into Helheim, right? So it's kind of whatever. We're gonna do Owlquills. We just gotta get there first. I promise. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the turn. I think that'll be good. Hopefully things go well with Sarmatia. I might just be, I don't know, I might just be getting myself killed or painting a target on my back. Early hard wars like this can be a little, I don't know, they can break the game for you, basically. Like, if this goes poorly for me with Sarmatia, obviously, Sarmatia might just beat me back and then he and my neighbors eat me. But if this goes well for me, it might still end up being a death sentence, because if I pop on Sarmatia and just devour him, the rest of the game might just be like, okay, well, you now have Kalem, Abyssia, Hinnom, Femoria, and Marverni. That's like, we're not happy with that, So hopefully we are going to time this right, and early wars are going to start up with other factions, between other factions, and we'll go from there. All right, anyways, that's going to be the turn. I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.